after it was a multi-level marketing type scheme where for some amount of money, they would sell you a website, and the only thing that differentiated your website from someone else's website is that it had your name on the top of it. So I think he was next.
Are any of these techniques used in the new MSN search that was just released?
We've communicated this to the MSN folks and talked to them, but I can't comment on product details. So.
What's the largest spam content you have?
What do you mean by largest spam content?
Whether it's pornography or multi-level marketing, or what's like the most common spam content?
Pornography has on the order of 2/3 in our collection. I mean, this is, that's out of a sample of 150 million pages. But, I mean, that's of the spam, not total.
Do you have your data sets are about 2 or 3 years old? If you had something recent, what would you expect the trends to be?
I would expect there to be a higher prevalence of spam.
And do you think, is there a way to know how successful the spammers consider these techniques to be? Are they making money with this? Are they able to sell this? Or are they just implement it?
I believe SEOs make a fair amount of money. I don't know if presumably it works for the website that hires them, or else they wouldn't be paying the amount of money that they are.
Yeah. Is there any connection between spam and where the server is physically located? Are these like offshore sites? Or?
No. I've looked at a small sample using kind of routing information. So, and it's fairly well distributed.
You mentioned semantic approaches. What semantic methods or methodologies are you looking at right now?
I unfortunately can't talk about that yet. Sorry.
We'll read about that in a future paper.
Yes.
That's right. Where would you draw the line between something that's above board, legitimate things someone can do to make their page visible, and these sort of things?
Well, I think it's easy. It's hard to draw specifically where the line is. It's easy to come up with examples that I've seen that are completely overboard. There was a particular site that put a random number of hyperlinks at the bottom of each page, and by at the bottom I mean outside the closing /HTML. So not correct HTML, and put between 800 and 3,000 links at the bottom of each one of those pages, where the anchor text was an asterisk, and only an asterisk, and they pointed off to various places. And they were smart in that they had a varying number of them. And so a HTML parser that's looking for correct structure wouldn't necessarily see these, but a scanner that is just looking for tags, such as a link extractor that's built into a crawler, would extract them. And so, for example, I would consider that over the line, even though there was actually some content on that page. I mean, they're clearly trying to inflate their ranking by creating links that aren't useful to a human. So it's harder to kind of draw the line specifically.
Would you agree that there's more spam today than like a year or 2 years ago?
On the web? Yes.
Do you have any numerical data or some kind of idea of how fast is it growing? Is it linear, exponential?
So I only have a little data,
Right.
but what I do have would suggest that it's more linear. As a percentage. So, but.
How about correlation between like spam sites and like pop-up ads?
I haven't done that. Again, we mainly for speed, we're trying to avoid doing things where we actually had to parse the page, other than to do things like link extraction. Those types of things become very expensive per page, and with 150 million pages. So.
Do you think is there potentially a link between these pages that you've identified and spam that's coming from the email?
I wouldn't think so. Most of these pages really exist for a crawler's consumption, and not for humans' consumption. And I guess back to the previous question a bit, one of these things these pages typically have is either a meta refresh or a JavaScript document write in order to take the surfer back to whatever their kind of main site is. And so these pages aren't trying to kind of sell you anything or do the type, phishing type things that kind of email spam does. They're really geared toward having links and keywords and things like that that are going to be searched for, which is kind of the push versus pull.
My general thought was, if you're going to be sleazy one way, why not be sleazy too?
Any more questions? Oh, okay. Let's thank our speaker then.
Okay.